Broadcasting from Cincinnati, you're listening to the Ringside Reporter Podcast. All the news from the world of boxing right here.
Well, I'm talking to you the way I want to talk to you.
Now, here's your host, Eric Lorda.
And we are live. Welcome to the Ringside Reporter Show, where we talk about the latest boxing news. If it's related to boxing, we'll talk about it here. My name is Eric Lorta, and I'm here with my co-host, Joe Habib. We got a great show for you today, and if you want to call in, 570-530-8316. Let's get it started. Chicago, DAZN, Oscar Duarte versus Kenneth Sims Jr., 12 rounds junior welterweights. Duarte, with the upset, wins a majority decision over Kenneth Sims, 114 all, 116, 112, 115, 113. B, this was a pretty big upset, man. Nobody really expected this. I think so, yeah. I think Kenneth Sims was like the house fighter, wasn't he?
Well, actually, he was the hometown fighter, but Duarte is a golden boy fighter, so he was the house promoter fighter, but like this was his hometown, obviously fighting in his hometown, but he wasn't the house fighter in terms of he didn't have the A-side promoter.
Right, on the promoter. But I still think it was a pretty big upset.
I actually did pick Sims to win.
Right.
But the odds were very close.
Really?
Yeah, it was very close. And even Corey Lee asked me who I think is going to win. and I said, I think Sims would win before the fight. And he said, but what do you think about he's not the house fighter, meaning he doesn't have the A-side promoter.
Yeah.
So because Duarte is promoted by Golden Boy, and this was a Golden Boy show. So
right.
Yeah.
I heard that he had Duarte winning by majority decision too. Is that right? Corey Lee did.
I don't know who. He showed me all his other picks, but he didn't show me that. He didn't show me that one. So something's telling me he did bet on Sims. I thought Sims before the fight. I thought Sims would win, but I had Duarte winning 8-4. So
yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad, man. Yeah, I mean, where do you see either one of these guys going? I mean, are they? What do you see on the horizon for Duarte?
Duarte's right in both these guys are still probably right in the mix because the lightweight division, a lot of those guys. I mean, what do you got? Tank. Besides Tank, I mean, you got Shakur, you got Tank and Shakur, then you got everybody else, right? Yeah. So outside of Tank, and even Tank, we don't even know where Tank's at right now. Like this, right after that Lamont Roach fight. And then his state of mind and all the trouble he's been getting in. But the thing is he can still punch and he's still a good boxer. But when you have Shakur and Tank, and then you got everybody else. So these guys can still, I think, hold their own against probably the tier below Tank and Shakur.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the thing. I mean, like, and you talk about like you mentioned Tank and his fight with Roach isn't going to happen anytime soon. Yeah. What happens to this guy, man? I mean,
we don't even know how long Shakur is going to stay on at 135 because, again, if he doesn't get the Tank fight, there's no big money fights down there for Shakur. So he might as well go up to 140. There's a lot more intriguing fights for him and probably bigger money fights for him at 140. So where does Duarte go from here? Duarte versus Cepeda. The both Golden Boy fighters. That would be great comeback fight for Cepeda. And I don't think I've ever seen Duarte in a dull fight.
I tell you, and I'm looking forward to this when this whole thing gets decided. We'll talk about the whole thing later with the amendment to the Ali Act and everything, and like when Turkey and TKO and everybody gets in this, because these guys, like you see, like three losses. I think one has 3, one has 4 losses or whatever on Duarte and everything. They're not bad fighters. They're not. These guys can win. These guys are capable. Sims has anybody on any given night.
Yeah, Sims has 3 losses and Duarte has 2. Yeah. And Duarte, again, you have to understand, Duarte was a lightweight moving up to like virtually 147 almost to fight. He was fighting at virtually 147 pounds when he fought Ryan Garcia. So that was a big jump for him. And I still thought he did pretty decent. He kind of hurt Garcia a little bit, made him work a little bit before he got stopped. But at 135, he's a different. I think he's a solid pro. I think he's a solid pro, solid contender. Definitely a top 10 guy.
You can see, like, so in the UFC, you know how, like, look how many losses, like, say, Nick and Nate Diaz had, but they're always dangerous and they're always in entertaining fights and they're always, I think we're going to see a lot more of that. I really do. I think a lot more of the
thing. Here's the thing. You hear all these guys, right? If you're not a Shakur, if you're not a Tank, if you're not a Benavidez, if you're not a Bivol, a better be like, what I believe is you need a home for the guys that aren't quite top tier, but are on the cusp of top tier.
Yeah.
You almost need like a farm league. And to me, that's what all the guys that have nowhere to go, right? Like when PBC, like a lot of these PBC fighters who fight once a year, they're going to be like, damn, I don't have the leverage as some of these other guys have, like David Benavidez and Tank and all them. So I can't demand fights, right? Where do I go? I go to an organization that's going to keep me busy. And I think that's where this TKO organization will be beneficial, because there's a lot of guys, and we see it all the time, and we talk about it every week. Oh, we haven't seen this guy for a year and a half. We haven't seen this guy for 2 years. Why is that? It's because these other promotional companies can't get them dates. Whereas if you have an organization like TKO, at least these guys are going to have a place to go, and they're going to be able to have some activity, in a steady schedule of fights.
Yeah.
So I just look at this as there's no, I hate to beat the dead horse, but there's no barrier to entry, right? If you have a better product, then you shouldn't have anything to worry about. If Top Rank has faith in their product, if Golden Boy has faith in their product, and all the rest of the promotional companies, Eddie Hearn, Matchroom, whatever, then why would you care about this group? If they're not gonna, if you say that you have your guys, the top guys, whatever, PBC will still have Benavidez, they'll have Tank, Golden Boy. I don't know if they're gonna have Ryan anymore, but they still have Virgil Ortiz. They still have other fighters under their banner. Top Rank's got Xander Zayas. They've got some guys on they got Keyshawn Davis. So if you have confidence in your stable, then what the fuck do you care what's going on over there, right? Let them do what they're going to do. You do what you're going to do. I think competition is better for the sport.
I agree. I completely agree. Tony Ayo asked about the Ali Act. We're gonna get into that right after in a little bit, but we're gonna get into that. So we'll break it all down for you. Eric Corey, and I agree with this. Beeb is such a Tank hater. Davis is top tier. Just accept it. Beeb,
he is top tier. There's no doubt.
No, don't try to do it now. Don't try to say it now. No. You don't get to dump on him week after week, and then come out here today and say, "Oh, he's one of my favorites." No, it doesn't work.
He's not one of my favorites. I won't go that far.
We got a Beeb lover here. Lucas Balchunas says, if Beeb had a body like Duarte, he'd be a famous model. There you go.
Let's get that down.
Get that down. Get that down.
It's a little too much right there. Come on, please.
All right. Let's go with that co-main here. Regis Prograis versus JoJo Diaz. 10 rounds, junior welterweights. Prograis wins a unanimous decision, 98-92, 96-94 twice. This was a crazy, on the first 2 rounds, man. Prograis looked to me like he was winning that first round, and then he got tagged right on the inside, man. And he wobbled, and he looked like he was on the cusp of going down. And the same thing happened in the second round. It seemed like he got things together in the third round and so forth, and just kind of boxed versus you don't want to stand in there and slug with a guy like Diaz, man. But he looked good. He looked good in the sense that I don't know where his punch resistance is. I really don't. But listen, it's boxing. You're going to get hit, right? I mean, you're going to take a shot now and then. But I thought the fact that he was able to come back from those two, a rocky start to say the least, and put it together, follow the instruction, and take it across the finish line, I thought that was very good.
Yeah, he showed a lot of grit, a lot of resolve in this fight. And again, when you get older, 36 is not old, but it's old in boxing years. It's you're turning the corner.
Ancient in boxing years, yeah.
when you talk about punch resistance, a lot of that has to do with just your conditioning. And as you get older, you lose a little bit of your lung capacity. Your lung capacity is not as strong. It's not as efficient. So, you don't get that recuperative power from the oxygen because your body's not able to utilize it as quickly as and efficiently as when you're younger, right? Mm-hmm. So that's just part of the course. I think as any fighter gets older, and he's not going to be able to have the same, lung capacity and the same cardio that he once had when he was younger, that's going to affect any human being's recuperative power.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Or recuperative abilities. So when they say his punch resistance is gone, everyone's punch resistance, everyone's durability goes down as they get older. You don't get better as you age. You're not going to all of a sudden become more sturdy and more durable as you get older. It's like anything else. When you get older, the body slows down. I hate to use the word, but it deteriorates, right? And this is what you get. So, but I guess the troubling thing is JoJo Diaz never was a big puncher, right? Even when he was at the lighter weight classes. So, obviously, maybe Prograis is going down a little bit, and he's kind of
he's 36.
He's 36. He's kind of going down maybe quicker than we anticipated, right?
Did he make one last run?
No, I don't think so.
Wow, so that's awful.
So his slippage is coming a little bit quicker than I would have anticipated. You know what I mean? So I think when you're in there with a JoJo Diaz, and this guy was never a big puncher, and he's not like Teddy Atlas said this. A lot of people say this. Punchers are born; they're not made, and a lot of that has to do with just your genetics. Like if you're, as Max Kellerman likes to say, a fast twitch muscle fiber guy. If you're fast twitchy, then you're going to have that power. JoJo Diaz has never been that fast twitchy explosive guy, right? He's never had explosive power, but he looked like he could punch against Prograis last night. So
didn't he?
Yeah, and I've never seen him. I guess to sum it up in an eggshell here, I've never seen JoJo Diaz hit somebody like that and have that much of an effect on somebody. You know what I mean? He looked like a power punch. He looked like Gennady Golovkin in there last night,
right?
With the effect he was having on Prograis. So credit to Prograis. Obviously, he was the quicker guy. He was the guy that was a little more polished, and his jab was good. But his jab is going to look good against the guy, with all due respect, against JoJo Diaz, because JoJo Diaz is not the most elusive guy in the world. He's not a guy that moves his head a lot. This guy's never been a defensive specialist anyways. But to me, he went life and death with JoJo Diaz. I had him edging the fight like 6 rounds to 4. Yeah. Right? I mean, he got the win. A win is a win.
Win's a win.
But you kind of edged that. Like, you won that fight by the hair on a rat's ass. It wasn't like you – that fight was in the balance.
Yeah.
It was in the balance. So
yeah. Big Texan says, hello, Beeb, sending my love.
Get down.
And Bruce Gass says, we're all a biological mass deteriorating in bags of skin.
Absolutely.
I agree with that too. All right. Earlier in the week, I think this was Wednesday, Japan, Kenshiro Teraji versus Ricardo Sandoval for the WBA and WBC Flyweight Championship. Sandoval beats Teraji by split decision, 115-112 and 117-110. And then the other judge had it, Teraji winning 113-114. So there you go. Long Beach, California this weekend. Jerwin Ancajas versus Ruben Casero, 8 rounds junior featherweights. And Ancajas wins a majority decision with some strange scoring here. 80-72 twice for Ancajas, but the third judge had it 76-76. That's some odd scoring, man. I'll tell you that. That is some very odd scoring. On the undercard, Gabe Rosado versus Crispulo and Dino, 8 rounds light heavyweights. Gabe Rosado wins by first round KO and then immediately called out Edgar Berlanga after the fight.
Did he really?
Rosado's 39, and he didn't look great in that fight. I mean, we both saw it. Now, the other guy looked worse than he did. That other guy looked like he wasn't in shape at all. And Andino, or what is his name? And it doesn't matter. We're never going to talk about him again.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't even matter. All right. But I will tell you that shot looked low. All right. I'm telling you that shot looked low. So if you watch this fight, a body shot gets this whole thing going in the first round. Let's see here. Rosado threw a body shot. Looked to me like it was low. I don't know. Beeb doesn't think it was low. It was one of those things where it could go either way. You know what I mean? We didn't really get a good angle on it. There wasn't really a good angle, who was carrying this fight? Does anybody know who was even carrying this fight? I don't know either, but the replay was, I don't know. Looked like a low blow to me. I've got a still shot that says it's a low blow, but what do I know? I'm just
not admissible in court.
We were going back and forth on this. My wife comes in. You're already yelling. The show hasn't even started yet, and we're arguing about this low blow. Beeb doesn't think it was a low blow. I think it was a low blow, but hey, in the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Rosado was going to win that fight anyway. That guy he was fighting. That guy did not look in fighting shape. I'll say that. He looked
Marv Nation.
Marv Nation. Yeah. What is Marv Nation? What does that even mean? What is Marv Nation?
Marv Nation, like aren't they a promotional company?
I don't know. Let me look it up now.
What is
Marv Nation? It's Marv Nation Promotions.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. You want to get a Marv Nation hoodie while you're at it? There we go.
Yeah, it's a promotional company, Marv Nation.
Yeah. I don't know.
So I don't know who broadcast the fight, but
yeah, I don't know who broadcast it either. Now there was a DAZN sticker on there on the canvas or whatever, but it was a smaller one, so I didn't know if DAZN was showing that fight or what. We caught it secondhand. So I don't know.
A sponsor or something for the event.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know, but that was that for the weekend's action. Let's see here. Let's go to the upcoming fights here, and then we'll go to Robert. We'll get him in here. So what do we got here? So that's it. There's nothing.
August is a dead month. We got nothing until September.
This is awful, dude. This is like COVID level.
But action. August has always been a shitty month for boxing. It always has been.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like the whole summer. I mean, typically the whole summer. June, it's like June and
July and September are always good months for boxing. And then June's
August
okay.
Sucks though.
Yeah, August has always been horrible. You know why? That's because that's the month where everyone goes away on vacations.
That's true.
Mostly. So that's why they don't do a lot of shows on August.
From Benghazi, Libya, on August 8th, on DAZN, by the way. Albert Ramirez versus Jerome Pampillon. 12 rounds light heavyweights. Who's putting this thing on? What are we doing here?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. August 15th, a week later, from Santa Ynez, California, it's a UFC Fight Pass. Omar Trinidad versus Lorenzo Parra. We got two chicks fighting for the title, some bantamweight title. Who cares? In Beijing, China, Zhu Kan versus Jawad Belmedi. 12 rounds, junior lightweights. Pro Box TV. Yeah, there's hardly anything. August 16th, though, Nick Ball versus Sam Goodman. That should be a good one. That's a good fight. That's a real good fight.
It's a very good one, yeah.
And that's with the Dillian White versus Moses Ayatuma. That's a good. David Adelaide's on there versus Ergovich.
Someone told me.
Ford. Huh?
Someone told me, not to cut you off.
No.
But Dillian White and Atamu is a pay-per-view fight, I heard. $50.
Is it really?
That's what someone told me.
On DAZN?
I think, yeah. I think it's a pay-per-view.
Wow.
Isn't that sick?
That is. And you know what? I looked at DAZN's pricing today. It looks like they came down. They might, if you pay for it in the
for
year,
a year, it's like $23.
It's $20. It's like $19.99 now.
Oh, is it $19.99 or so? Okay. I thought it was $23, but that's.
And you don't have to pay it. It's one of those things. I don't think you have to pay it all at once. You can just pay it. They'll just.
Yeah, they allow you to do month. If you commit to a year, they'll still let you do monthly payments. You don't have to pay the whole thing. But if you pay for a whole year, they'll give you a couple bucks off the monthly thing. So I think if you do commit to a yearly membership, and then you just do it monthly in installment payments, then you pay $23. But if you pay the whole thing up front, then it's $20 a month.
Yeah, and that's not bad if they don't have pay-per-views, but they're going to have pay-per-views. So that throws that out the window. It's stupid.
They have too many pay-per-views. Listen, they're not as bad as PBC, but they're catching up. They're getting close to PBC.
They really are. They really are. Because some of those fights you have on pay-per-view should not be on pay-per-view. Yeah. The PBC cards are really not. I mean, the pay-per-views they're putting on lately are they just went by the wayside, man.
And I like the David Benavidez Anthony Yard fight. I'm not sure if that's I don't think that one's going to be on pay-per-view according to Turki Al-Sheikh, because he's going to be.
That's a Riyadh season.
Riyadh season. So I don't think that's going to be on pay-per-view.
Yeah, Kevin's Ghost. I 100% agree here. The worst thing you can do for a rookie hot prospect is hide him behind a paywall. I agree.
I agree too. Yeah.
On NBC on Saturday afternoons when they had the Saturday fights or the Friday night fights and everything like that. Those are the best things you can do because a lot of people are watching those things. You know,
what was Bobby Chez's nickname? The matinee idol.
Was it the matinee idol?
Yeah.
That was his nickname.
Yeah, the matinee idol.
That's awesome. I didn't know that. All right, let's bring Robert on here. 530, Robert.
Hello, guys. How are you?
What's the word?
First of all, last night's fight between Duarte and Sims, that was at 140 pounds, not 135.
I said junior welterweight.
And and
that's 140.
Yeah. And I thought JoJo Diaz won that fight last night. I thought he won.
Wow.
I thought he won that fight.
Wow.
And I like Regis, but every time JoJo hit him, he acted like he was hurt. I think you should retire, guys. I really do.
Who, Prograis?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I didn't like the way he looked. I didn't like the way he looked when he got hit. Joe, am I wrong here?
Well, he did not look great the way he was reacting to some of those shots. I did say that JoJo Diaz has never been a big puncher. He's never been that fast, twitchy, explosive type guy. And even the announcers were very surprised at the effect that those punches were having on Prograis. And they commented on numerous occasions last night questioning Prograis' punch resistance. So are you wrong? No, you're not wrong. But I
haven't heard.
I don't know. I don't know if he's. Yeah, I don't know if he's ready to. He probably has a couple more fights in him. That if he fights at a certain level, he'll be fine. I think if he fights lower top 10 guys, he'll be okay. But if he steps up to the iron of the division, I don't think he'll have much. I don't think he'll be champion again. But again, look at Zayas. Zayas backed his way into a world title. So anything is possible.
Yeah.
When you have 4 belts, you have guys getting stripped, guys vacating titles, guys moving up. Is it out of the realm of possibility that this guy can't pick up a vacant title?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think so.
Not.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's yeah.
So
I mean, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong, guys. I love Regis. I love the way he fights, but I just didn't like the way he looked last night. Whenever he got hit,
I think you're shitting all over him right now, to be honest.
Yeah, you were just kind of dumping all over him.
I think you're really dumping all over him. And the guy's got a family, he's trying to make a living, and you want to throw that all away. Are you going to write the checks to pay those bills? Are you going to step in? Are you and Mrs. Herrick going to take the bus down to the Western Union and send him money to pay his bills? Absolutely not. That's not going to happen. So you don't have the right to tell him to go find something else to do.
That was deep. That was very deep.
Yeah, I that's just my opinion. And Eric, you are correct, because when DAZN advertised the D and White fight last night during the fight card, Todd Grisham did make it a point to say that was a pay-per-view. So, and before and before, when they would advertise that fight, they never said it was a pay-per-view. But last night, Todd Grisham made it a point to tell everybody that that was going to be a pay-per-view.
That's on the same card. Who's on that card? Hold on. Let's see.
It's
here.
on the August 16th.
The Nick Ball
Sam Goodwin.
So then Nick Ball Sam Goodman is a pay-per-view.
That's correct.
That's crazy.
Everybody on that card, that's a pay-per-view.
So here's the thing.
And that's in Riyadh. That's a whatchamacallit, turkey card.
So listen to this, Eric.
That's a turkey card, yeah.
Well, listen to this, Eric. Because of that announcement of Turki Al-Sheikh saying that he would like to not have pay-per-views for Riyadh season cards and Ring TV cards, right? After that statement, watch what everyone does now. Everyone that is not on doing a Ring TV or a Riyadh season card, they're going to try and get as many pay-per-views in now as they can because of what's going on the other.
I think the landscape's about to change.
Watch what happens now. And I said this on Twitter. I said, okay, that's great. That's great that the Riyadh season and the Ring TV cards may not be pay-per-view. But what about everybody else? You got Golden Boy on there. You got Frank Warren. You got Eddie Hearn. What about the shows that they don't do that aren't Riyadh season cards and aren't Ring TV cards? What are those going to be? So again, pay-per-view is not going away anytime soon.
Yeah. Pocket just made a comment. He said Prograis has been on the decline for a while. I tend to agree. He said Prograis only wants big fights post-fight, or big fights after this. I don't blame him. I don't blame him. But I think he can. I think he could definitely get there. Yeah,
I mean, again, he's still serviceable as a pro. There's like he's not shot. I mean, again, that bottom top 8 to top 10 guy that from 7, 8, 9 down to 10. He's competitive against those, but when you get into the top 5-ish, he's going to have problems.
Yeah, I would agree with that. He's not what he once was. No question. I think he's still got some left in the tank.
Can he beat Barrios?
Mario Barrios?
Yeah.
He absolutely
We just saw Mario Barrios arguably lose to 47-year-old Manny Pacquiao.
Of course he can beat him.
So again, there's a pathway to a title for
Can he beat Mario Barrios? Yeah.
Okay. So as long as there's Mario Barrios, and I'm sorry to Mario Barrios and his family.
I'm not because let me tell you what, the fact that you couldn't put away a 47-year-old guy and that fight was that close. Give me a break, man. Come on, man. Again, when he's under the lights, he freezes.
I'm not going to run interference for this guy.
Listen, I mean, he probably beats Pacquiao in the gym 9 out of 10 times. But when you're under the lights, he doesn't do it.
Interesting point.
Yeah.
Interesting point.
Absolutely. Let's see here. Robert. She said he dropped off, said his phone cut off. Robert, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I don't know what happened, guys.
Doesn't matter. What's up?
Yeah, but like I was saying, that whole card on the 16th is a DAZN pay-per-view. And guys, you remember during the Dubois card, they interviewed Turki and they had the DAZN guy there, and Turki said he didn't want any more pay-per-views, and the DAZN guy didn't look very happy about that.
Frank Warren didn't look very happy about it either. None of them looked very happy.
No, he did not. Yeah. So
I don't want to get rid of pay-per-views.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't mind paying for the pay-per-views. I just don't like the fact when I don't like the fact when PBC, for example, puts up a pay-per-view, they want $80 or $90. If you make them, $40 to $60, that's more reasonable for people. But
how much is pay-per-view going to be?
I don't know. I haven't seen a price.
I heard this Dillian White, Moses of Tom pay-per-view is going to be $50. That's what I heard.
Oh, that's garbage. That's garbage, man.
Well,
I'm not paying to watch that.
And again, why should the American consumer pay for a fight that's overseas like that?
Why should we pay for it when we're already paying for it? You know what I'm saying? We're already paying for it. You're already paying $20 a month.
Yeah.
See, this is where DAZN is making a mistake. You're right, Joe, because a lot of these fighters are going to be on this card. They're all overseas. a lot of American people, unless you're boxing geeks like we are, they don't know who they are. So I don't know. I don't know who made that decision for DAZN to, charge the U.S. people X amount of dollars for, fighters they may not know. I have no idea about that.
If you have a Peacock membership, you don't have to pay for WrestleMania. You don't have to pay for SummerSlam.
No.
You don't have to pay for any of those events. And then you get all other types of sports with your Peacock membership too.
Yeah,
And
it's all included.
And that's why Peacock has 41 million subscribers worldwide, as opposed to the 20 million DAZN has.
And look at this. On September 13th, guys, the biggest fight of the year is going to be free on Netflix as long as you have a Netflix subscription.
Yeah.
I honestly think by this is my opinion. My opinion's getting stronger by the day. I think Top Rank's going to go to Peacock. I think so. Because
that would be a good move.
Because he keeps talking.
Very good move.
He keeps talking about how pay-per-view he's been saying pay-per-view is dead. Bob Arum. He's saying like the market has changed. There's no viable market now for pay-per-view. There's too much illegal streaming. Blah, blah. He's been really shitting on pay-per-view lately. And he says we try not to do pay-per-views. We don't want to do pay-per-views. So everything.
Well, that's where ESPN. I think that's where them and ESPN differ because they wanted a pay-per-view. Yes. You know what I mean? That's what happened.
Yes. So I think honestly, you watch. I think Peacock's going to pick Top Rank up. You watch.
That'd be great.
Do you think? Hey guys, do you think that Netflix will pick up more fights?
No.
Well, okay, so I'll tell you what. Let's do this. Here, Robert, let's see here. Let me put you back on hold, and then we might bring you back in for this next topic here. So let's talk about this because I've been hearing this all week. I mean, Chris Mannix came out, dumped all over this and everything like that. This is somebody asked me earlier about the Ali Act, and then what about this change to the Ali Act, the amendment to it? And this change allows new organizations to come in and put on their own shows. The sanctioning bodies could become obsolete unless they deal with the new, Turki Al-Sheikh and TKO or whoever decides to come in there. The amendment allows for a UFC type of organization. Okay. That's what they're trying to do. In this model, they would control their own rankings, their own fights. And my question to Beeb is that, wouldn't this make the promoters pretty much obsolete? I mean, so like in the UFC, you don't really have a promoter. The UFC is kind of the promoter. So just like with Riyadh season, they are kind of the promoters, but they have Eddie Hearn in there and they have other people. And, so this one, you really wouldn't even need promoters, right? Because they have a marketing department. Like, because that's what they want to do. They want to put the UFC model into boxing.
Promoters. They wouldn't need promoters, but promoters would still exist, as they are right now. And
so how would it work? Okay, so how would it work if I'm a promoter, if I'm Eddie Hearn, right? Or Oscar De La Hoya, and I got Ryan Garcia is under my contract. How does that work? How does that shake out? Like, how do I go and fight?
And he stays with you. He's not. So in other words, everyone that's under contract with a current promoter stays under. Like, this is business as usual. Nothing changes. So everything that stays the same. The only thing that's changed in the Muhammad Ali Act, there was a law there was a statute in the Muhammad Ali Act, right, that said promoters could not have their own title belts. So the amendment allows for a company for an organization to have their own title belts and have their own rankings. So that's the only thing that's changed. All the protections that were still there under the Muhammad Ali, you can't screw over fight. Like, how are fighters going to get screwed over? If you're not part of TKO, then this doesn't affect you. If you're a Matchroom fighter, if you're a top-ranked fighter, if you're a Frank Warren fighter, and you're not involved with TKO, then what are you worried about?
I'll give you an example. And you just kind of brought it up when you were talking about Top Rank and Peacock, and it was a great point. Okay, you talked about Bob Arum and Top Rank going to Peacock, right?
Yeah.
So how does that work? How is that going to work? You know what I mean? Because you have, you're still like TKO is with DAZN, you know, the Turkey Al Sheep, the Dana White group right now is with DAZN.
Sure.
They may go to Netflix. Who knows what they're going to do? They're going to do the same thing UFC and everything everybody does. But if I've got a TV, if Aram's got a deal with Peacock, right?
Yeah.
How is that? Then they still got to go with the networks. Where are you going to show it? It's still going to be there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's why I think the easier path is going to be getting promoters out of it. So like what I think is going to happen, I think they're going to start signing guys. And just like Dana White says, they're going to start signing guys to Zuffa or whatever it is, whatever his promotion is called. They go in there and then they're under these, you know, under the rules where they can fight anybody. They can, you know, they're in the rankings and they're that kind of stuff.
They're going to have their own group of fighters in there that are going to have nothing to do with the other fighters. So think of it like this. You know how you have Misfits Boxing?
Yes.
And you have Bare Knuckle Boxing?
Yes.
Those organizations have nothing to do with the sanctioned body boxing.
No, but bare knuckle boxing is a completely different sport.
And this is going to be a completely different organization.
Yes.
Meaning, so you're going to have...
And that's the other thing too. They can have their own titles and everything. Like they don't, that's what, Yeah,
but you're still going to have the IBF, WBO, WBC, all those, they're going to still exist and they're going to still have their own rankings. They're going to still have their own fighters. What's going to happen is there's going to be a group of fighters that are going to just say, you know what, I'm going to join this.
Yeah.
And wherever and then the fighters that are already doing their own thing with the sanctioned bodies and their own promoters, this doesn't affect them. So I don't understand what people are talking about. This doesn't change anything. All this does is create a different entity where people can sign up for and be a part of if they choose to. And if you don't like the TKO model, then guess what? Then you stay with Bob Arum, you stay with Frank Warren, you stay with Eddie Hearn, and you allow yourself to be ranked by the sanctioning bodies. This doesn't affect anybody. It doesn't affect anything.
Well, and the other thing was, I think they said, you know, and you had brought this up too. They still have to follow the sanctioning, the state ruls of the, you know what I mean? They've got to follow the commission rules.
The Association of Boxing Commissions, they co-signed them. They support them. Muhammad Ali's wife supports them, right? Muhammad Ali's daughter, like you never heard anyone from Muhammad Ali speak out against this. They've actually been supportive of this.
Yeah.
So again,
I've heard a few come out. Chris Mannix, he did a whole thing about this and why it's not fair to the fighters and everything like that, and why it gets
not fair to the fighters.
You know, I just, you know, I think it's a great thing. I think it's great for the fans, and I think it's great for the fighters. I think the minimum, the payments per round, the minimum, because some states don't even have a minimum. Like you could just go and not get paid, and that's not against the law.
You can go fight a 4-rounder.
Yeah.
You can go fight a 4-rounder and get $200.
Mm-hmm.
This way, they have to pay you $150 a round.
Yeah.
So you're gonna get $600, whereas before you only got $200.
Right. There's a minimum. There's a minimum there.
They have to give you
at least there. It's there.
They have to give you insurance, right?
Yeah.
So, and here's the thing too. Oh, well, didn't UFC get sued before? Yeah. Okay. Didn't Bob Arum get sued before? Didn't Don King get sued before? Didn't Bob Arum bribe the IBF?
Everybody
bribe the IBF to get his fighters ranked?
Yeah.
I mean, didn't Roy Jones sue the WBC and he almost bankrupted them? So again, like, what are we arguing here? And here's another thing. Zuffa does not, the Fertittas don't own the UFC anymore. The UFC is part of TKO, which is a publicly traded company. They have to answer to a board of directors.
That's
so
a big
they can't fuck around, bro. Like, I don't think all of you people don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah.
You really don't.
Reese Lindsay says, could it lead to a boxing union? Absolutely not. No, that will not happen.
The boxing union will never happen. You know why? Because Canelo Alvarez, Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, just like Hulk Hogan wouldn't allow it in the WWE. All these people that pretend they care about the fighters, you guys are the first ones to complain. Oh, these guys overpriced themselves. these guys want too much money. This guy's doing this. This guy. You complain so much, but now all of a sudden, because it's Dana White, and that you have this hatred towards the UFC. Like
I don't understand that. Yeah, I don't know
where this hatred towards the UFC is coming from.
Two different sports.
Now, the UFC has a different pay structure. Why? Because how many MMA fighters are there? How many MMA organizations are there? So the less fighters you have, right? And the less organizations you have, the less competition you have. So again, of course, the pay scale as a result of that is going to be different. They have to pay the fighters a lot of money because there's like 10,000 registered boxers in the world globally, and you have all these promoters. Like, you have more competition in boxing. So of course, because when you have more competition, you have to pay more money. The UFC, name another MMA organization that pays the fighters more than the UFC does. So they're only doing what the market dictates them to do. Because they're not big, because MMA is not as big as boxing, because it hasn't been around as long, because there's not as many MMA organizations, and because there's not as many. How many fighters are in the UFC? There's like what, under 1,000? How many boxers are there in the world? There's like 10,000, 20,000. There's 20,000 boxers globally, and you're going to compare a sport with 20,000 active licensed fighters to an organization that has less than 1,000. So again, the pay structure is going to be different based on the competition.
You know what I did see though? What I did read, and this was interesting, because it's along the thing of pay here. Okay, that NBA, I think it's like 50%. I think they pay their players 50% of the revenue that comes in goes to the players. NFL is similar. The UFC, I think it's 12 to 14%.
That's what it was.
Yeah. Which is interesting. Because that's not a lot of money. And I understand when they say that the fighters aren't getting paid. However, you know, if you look at any boxing card, everybody sees Canelo, everybody sees Floyd, everybody sees those paydays. Those are the big paydays. But why don't you take a look on that undercard and see how much those guys are getting paid? And before you take a look at the UFC model and say they're not paying them anything and they should get X amount of million like Canelo does, again, look at it. You know what I'm saying? There's a big difference. And I think I really do. And I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for this. I think the pay structure in the UFC is right on. Because, you know, you think about Turki Al-Sheikh, he's got to dole out how many millions of dollars to make one fight happen. You know what I mean? And in the UFC, that fight would have happened.
But here's where the hypocrisy lies. How many times have people called into this show and said these guys pricing himself out of a fight? This guy's not worth what he's getting paid. So right. Which one is it? Are they overpaid, or are they getting what they're supposed to be getting? Which one is it? The average, like when you look at any company, right? And you look at the workers, what percentage, like when I go to work, I work for the city, whatever, what percentage of the city's revenue am I getting? Like, it's very rare. Boxing's pay structure is very rare. It's very rare.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And like, you know, Danny Drew said, where does Top Rank go? That ESPN dropped them.
I think they're going to Peacock.
I think that's so great. If they go to Peacock,
I think it just Peacock. I really do.
And okay, so let me ask you this. So Riyadh season, all right, they can pretty much go anywhere, right? Am I right about that, or am I wrong about that?
Well, they're gonna be.
I know they're partnering with DAZN right now.
Yeah, they can go anywhere.
But I'm wondering again, if we got a prospect at Top Rank, right, that we want to see fight again outside of the organizations, you know, quote unquote organizations. How does that? Are we still gonna have the same? What they're trying to eliminate are these fights that, you know, again, Canelo and Terrence Crawford, how long it took for them to get together, or how long it took for this fight to happen, or the best one, Pacquiao Mayweather. How long did that take to happen? And that fight took place well past the expiration date. You know what I mean? So I'm wondering how they're going to circumvent that now if they bring in a UBO, which is a unified boxing organization, and that's what they're calling the entities now. So if this bill gets passed, which it will get passed, I don't think there's anybody that doesn't think the bill's not going to get passed. You know, where does that, how does that going to work? You know what I mean? If one fighter fights for Peacock, one fighter fights for DAZN, and
I think
still have that.
If you're part of TKO will have its own television deals, right? And you'll fight wherever whoever pays the rights fee for TKO fights. It's as simple as that, which I believe they haven't announced a network yet for it. But I'm going to throw another spanner in the works for you. I wouldn't be surprised if TKO goes to Peacock too, because again, you got WWE,
bigger network,
who's part of TKO, or like
WWE. And then the UFC, you know.
So again, why not have everyone under the same umbrella, right? You have WWE already over there. So
how long is the UFC contract with ESPN?
It's over.
It's over, right?
It's going to be up pretty soon too. They're not, and they've already said Dana White is very unhappy with the ESPN, and he said they're not re-signing.
That's interesting. Why everybody seems to be unhappy with ESPN? I don't get it, but whatever. So that's. I mean, I really don't see how this is bad for the fighters.
Not because
I just don't.
Because no one's going to force you.
And you know what? You're not going to have to pay sanctioning fees anymore. You don't have to if you don't want to. You know what I mean? And I get that now you don't have to, but you lose your belt. The fact that what they charge for these sanctioning fees is ridiculous.
Yeah, but you also have to pay a sanctioning fee if you're fighting for an eliminator.
Which is unreal to me.
You have to also pay a sanctioning fee if you're defending an interim title. So again,
Kadali Bodiang says, how long did Aspinall wait? Referring to the John Jones fight.
Well,
listen, that's a different animal. The guy retired. He doesn't want to fight him. And so they were waiting to get his decision. Here's
the difference. Dana White would not give Jones another fight unless he fought Aspinall.
Right.
It's either Aspinall or bust.
That's
so he had to retire. So
yeah. And now he wants to come back at the White House fight, but it's like White says, it's like that's like a year away.
And Dana White already said, I can't rely on him. I'm not putting him on the White House card. What if he pulls out? So fuck that. So again,
you don't want one of those guys.
If you're a fan, this is better for you.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, Gavin's Ghost, you're 100% right. It's going to be a league. Yeah, it's absolutely going to be a league.
Yeah.
Just like the NFL, just like the MLB. And this is, honestly, this is what they need. They need this. And if it works, it'll be great. This is what PBC tried to do. Remember that? When they first came out, they weren't showing the belts. They weren't announcing them as champions. They weren't, because they wanted to get a PBC belt.
PBC wanted to do this, but they just didn't have the ability to do it.
And they had hundreds of fighters under contract.
200.
Yeah. I mean, so they had everything right there to do this. But, it just went south. And they just continue to go south.
I could see someone like Gabriel Rosado going to this.
Gabriel Rosado, I could too, because, Turkey Al-Sheikh, they all want to see good fights. They all want to see competitive fights. Gabriel Rosado's always in a pretty good fight, right? I mean, he really is. He's an exciting dude. I mean, he's always in good fights, whether you think he should be fighting or not. He's always action. It's always action, We talked about Duarte and Sims earlier. Again, those guys, not quite on that top tier, but say they fight a top tier fighter and they put in a good work. You're going to want to see him again, and you're going to see him again.
Yeah.
Gabriel Rosado going to be the TKO Pinata. Hey, listen, he's going to make money, man. He's going to make money. He can act. He can do anything, man.
The only thing that's changing is they're actually adding a minimum pay structure, which they didn't have before.
Right.
Actually adding mandatory insurance with increased money for insurance for the fighters.
But that's right. The fighters are going to have insurance now.
So
which they didn't have
what are the fighters losing? What's getting taken away? Mannix can't articulate it. He can't articulate.
No, he really didn't. And if you listen to that whole spiel he had, there wasn't, you know,
What's
there was nothing really
so
on the surface of it that really jumped out at you and said, yeah, this is horrible.
so if you don't like a piece of legislation that's being put forth, you can pinpoint the things you don't like about it. Like, I don't like the fact that there's mandatory this. I don't like the fact that you're putting work requirements in for that. Whatever.
Yeah.
Tell me what you don't like about the potential amendment for this bill.
Yeah.
You don't want Dana White to be able to come in and create something like the UFC. That's your only argument. Oh, because the UFC didn't pay their fighters, blah, 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 blah. Okay, yeah. But now they're owned by TKO. Now they got a board of directors. Now they're a publicly traded company on the stock market. Now they have to answer to people. So again, then this is a different. Don't look at the UFC today as if it was 20 years ago under the Fertittas. Right. It's a different ball game. It's a different ball game. When the Fertittas were running their casinos, they were getting sued by their employees. So again, that's a Fertitta thing. That's not a TKO thing.
Right.
TKO thing, with a Mari Emanuel, it's a different ball game. They're not going to do anything to put themselves in a negative light because they have shareholders to answer to.
Yeah, that's the thing. And that's a big difference. That's a big difference when you have public people to answer to. It really is. But again, I don't understand how it's going to work. Again, if Matchroom has a guy, do you think what's going to happen? I think that this is going to eliminate promoters. I really do.
What happened?
I think it will. Because again, I think they want everybody fighting under that banner. And as long as that's there, go ahead.
Think of addition instead of subtraction. Don't think that when you add, you have to subtract.
Okay.
You don't. Because if you are under contract with the promoter, they can't touch you. They can't. So this is a choice. If you are a fighter that doesn't have how many fighters you'll see on a card say, I'm a free agent, I'm not a promoter. I don't so I'm at this promoter's mercy.
Yeah.
Who promotes that guy Sims? Does he have a promoter?
Who knows?
Probably not, right? How many fighters that you see on these cards that are on the undercard, how many of them don't have promoters? This is for those fighters.
Yeah, who doesn't have a contract? They may have a one-fight contract, but that's
There are guys that the guys who get the call. Hey man, we need an opponent for Xander. We need an opponent for such and such. Those are the guys that are gonna benefit from this.
And can you imagine, and we always talk about the upper echelon, the top tier guys who are making the money and everything like that. But what about those guys on that undercard who's like third or fourth fight down, right? Who don't make any money, who don't make, and again, they don't have a promoter. They're signed to the card, but it doesn't mean they have a promoter, and this might be a better option for those guys.
The WBC didn't even know that a fighter tested positive for PEDs the fight before. Then he fights again and tests positive for PEDs again a second time. And then the WBC goes ahead and orders a rematch.
Yeah.
Because it was a no contest. So again, what do we like? Boxing is bad for boxing. Boxing does it to itself.
It does.
No one can kill boxing. No one can hurt boxing. No one's beating up boxing. Boxing is hurting itself.
Yeah.
It doesn't need a Dana White to do it.
No.
Doesn't.
The pay-per-views. People are tired of the pay-per-views. They're tired of the nonsense pay-per-views. Again, the Sam Goodman pay-per-view. That's not a pay-per-view thing. That's a DAZN fight. That shouldn't be a pay-per-view fight. Yeah. You know what I mean? And everybody's tired of it. Everybody is tired of it, especially with prices the way they are, the economy the way it is. Nobody wants to spend another $50 on a fight.
And when you ask the other promoters about what's going on here with TKO, they say this has nothing to do with us. We have our fighters. We're going to keep doing what we're doing.
Yeah. And it's just, I think they're going to go under that banner. I think they can just kind of come and go under that banner. With this amendment, that will let them do that.
Well, again, you're not going to see Artur Beterbiev in this. You're not going to see a Dimitri Bivol in this. You're not going to see a Canelo Alvarez in this. You're not going to see a Terence Crawford in this. You're not going to see a Virgil Ortiz in this. What you're going to see is you're going to see guys like Gabe Rosado who are not signed to a promoter and are just guns for hire. This is going to be a potential home for those guys. That's all this is. It's not like the sky's not falling here.
Tony Ayo says the economy is booming. I don't know what city you're living in, Tony, but yeah. Well, hopefully, whatever country you're in, it's doing great. So there you go. So yeah, I'm looking forward to see it, and I think this is the fun part. Is that the speculation is we don't know. It was kind of like, but we knew with the PBC, we bit by bit it kind of leaked out, and we were like, okay, yeah, this is good. This is where it's going to be. I think we all wanted PBC to succeed. If we're being honest,
a lot of people didn't. I did, but
I don't understand why you would not want them to succeed.
Yeah, a lot of people are against, because again, people don't really give a shit about the fighters. They don't give a shit about the rules. They don't give a shit about the drugs. They don't give a shit about any of that. You know what people care about, Eric? And we've been doing this long enough to know. They didn't like Al Heyman because Al Heyman was attached to Floyd Mayweather. So that's why they wanted PBC to fail. They don't like TKO because it's attached to Dana White, and they don't like Dana White. So people are part of their own little factions and tribes. See, they don't give a shit about PEDs when their fighter tests positive.
Yeah.
But if it's a fighter they don't like, then they're all over it.
Yeah.
So this has nothing to do with people really giving a shit about the fighters. It has nothing to do with people giving a shit about what's right and what's wrong and anything.
But
they don't care about. This is about people being tribal, and they want to be on one side, and they want to oppose the other side. That's all this fucking is.
Yeah.
All it is. You and I, we have people in the chat, and we have people call in, and they get mad at us because they want us to hate Dana White. You took a picture with the guy. And if I had the opportunity, guess what? I would take a picture with him too. Because in my opinion, whether you like it or not, I think he's the best promoter in the world right now.
Obviously.
That's my opinion.
That's $1 billion company he's got.
You don't take something that for fucking $4 million and turn it into a multi-billion-dollar company. That's
unless you know what you're doing.
Publicly traded on the stock market right now.
Yeah.
Name one boxing organization that's publicly traded on the stock market right now. You know why they would never do it? Because they don't want to be under the fucking spotlight. That's why.
That's it, man. I tell you. And how long? I mean, we've really, my whole life, we've always had something like this where we wanted something like this, where you wanted it to be like an MLB or like a NFL or something like that.
Right.
Where all these fighters and it's organized. And then there's no doubt, there's not outliers anywhere, but it's all organized. I think that's what you need. I think that's what'll happen. I'm fingers crossed. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm not concerned about this one iota. But one iota.
Tony Ayo says Waddell Reed is publicly traded. Yeah, they funded PBC, but PBC is not publicly traded, is what he's saying. They just, they loaned them money. That's all they did. Yeah.
Waddell Reed was a hedge fund company. They don't have their own ticker on the stock market.
Right.
They're a hedge fund. They're a hedge fund company.
So we'll see what happens, man. Some sad news, man. As we reported last week, Dwight Muhammad Qawi passed away last week. We reported that on the show. Since then, we've had two more people pass away, two more legends here, man. Tommy Brooks, legendary trainer, trained Mike Tyson and Holyfield, I believe. He passed away. I was cancer, right, baby? I think he passed away of cancer. Yeah, awful, sad. Man. He's only 71. Only 71, man.
It's the 70s. Like everyone's dying in the 70s.
In the 70s, man, right? Man. Yeah, that's what got me. It was 70s. I was like, geez.
Yeah, my dad was 77 when he passed away, man.
Yeah, mine was 74. Yeah. So
70s, right?
Yeah. You gotta, and then and you know what I did notice too? There's a big difference between 70 and like 80. Like once you hit that 80 mark, you start looking frail. You know, like in the 70s, you could still like, I think, you know, kind of look the part, you know, you're old, but I mean, you're still like, you know, you're not frail. But once you hit that 80 mark and that 90 mark, man, you are, you know, because you most people look incredibly frail at that age. You know, like you take a fall, man, you ain't getting back up. So Rahman Ali, the brother of Muhammad Ali, passed away as well. So condolences go out to all their families and everything like that. So awful, man. Three guys in the span of a week, man. It's horrible.
Yeah.
Just awful, man. Boxing says even Canelo or even Chael Sonnen admitted Canelo looked like he was juicing, and he said he cheated the same organizations when he was fighting. Yeah, I mean, I get it. Maybe he is, maybe he's not. Listen, he's being tested. That's all we can do. Comes up clean, he comes up clean. I mean, if he doesn't, he doesn't, you know?
If he was tested under the current system where they have an allowable amount now for clenbuterol, he would have passed the test. He wouldn't have failed. So again,
yeah. And the testing, that's a whole different rabbit hole.
They changed the they have an allowable limit.
Yeah.
For clenbuterol, and he had a fucking trace amount in his system, which was consistent with contamination of meat, which the whole Mexican soccer team tested positive for the same thing. So again,
right.
Oh, well, that's like, I mean, come on,
man. Let's see here. How old was Ali's brother? Reese Lindsay the first said how. I think he was 82, if I'm not mistaken. I believe he was 82.
It's not a bad life, right? 82.
82. That's not bad. That's not bad. I mean,
I would take 82.
I'll take 82. I'll take it.
I'm shooting for 95, but
82 is not bad either. You know,
I'll be 56 this year. If I can get, hey, listen, if I can get 26 more years, I don't know.
Oh Lord, that'd be great, wouldn't it?
I'll take it.
That'd be awesome. I know, right?
I'm getting scared thinking about 26 years. What I got to do now?
I know, right? Like we got stuff to do still, you know. It's like, it sucks getting old, doesn't it? Oh my God. All right, guys. Listen, that'll do it for this edition of Ringside Reporter. As always, you can catch Joe Habib on X at JHabib1. Find our YouTube channel at ringsidereporter.com. And you can find me on X at ringside73. And guys, we will see you later.